From stress and chaos to calm and peace. How can we deal with stress in our life long term? How can we make it stick? Hi beautiful beings, I'm Carol Wraithall. Welcome to my video channel. I help people on their awakening journey, and I help people connect with their guidance from upstairs. This is the third video in my meditation series. To start with, I'm going to take a side trip and talk about why we experience stress in our life. It's not just about life being stressful. There is a reason why certain things trigger us off. And in the second half, I'm going to show you how you can deal with that. Certain things you can do, and why meditation is really essential. If you were, over the course of 2 days, write down the things that are happening in your life that are causing you stress, you will start to see a pattern, or maybe you already see a pattern. Have a think now. Stress that we experience today is often caused by our wounds of the past. Now these might be big wounds, like childhood abuse, or they could be just little things that make a big difference on us. Those kind of incidences are the kind that can cause us stress later in life when the same type of situation comes along and it triggers us. Just have a think about the things that are causing you stress right now. Maybe it's the stress of not having enough money. Okay, that might be a hard one to link to the past. But if you thought about what's behind your stress of not having enough money, what does that make you feel like? Well, I don't feel secure. Why does that make you feel insecure? Because if I ran out of money, I might have to live on the street. And then you get to the point where you say, okay, if you didn't have any money and you couldn't afford to pay your rent, what options do you have? Well, I could go to what we call, well, it used to be called social welfare in my country. I actually don't know what it's called anymore. But you get a weekly allowance to live. And they will pay money so you can afford your rent and power and phone and groceries. So the worst case scenario of not having enough money is that you go on this benefit, but you can still keep paying your rent. So we put ourselves, sorry for saying this, but we put ourselves through a lot of stress and anxiety. We put ourselves through a lot of stress and anxiety by our fears from our wounds. The choice we have with our current stress, when you've written them down and you can go back and find out what's the key to that stress, what was the original wound, and then you ask yourself those questions. All right, what's behind the stress? Well, I'm afraid I won't be able to cope. Why do you think you won't be able to cope? Because I don't feel strong enough to. Why don't you feel strong enough to? Or what can you do to make yourself strong? Give yourself that type of interview and write down your answers and go all the way back and say, where does this come from? And if you know, write it down. If you don't, just let it sit for a while, it'll come to you. Now when you have those answers, you can either keep experiencing that anxiety and fear, or you can choose to just let it go. One thing I learnt after all the years that I stressed, it was not being able to have a home. I was in a family rental and I felt like I needed to please that person in order to keep living in my home. But what I did learn was I do have the strength to go out and find a new home. I was able to get the extra money I needed to pay the rent. And it did turn out okay. But all those years I felt the stress about that were just time spent completely wasted when I could have just been really enjoying being in the moment in life. So that's about the stress from the past, about an original wound, finding out what's behind it, coming up with a solution, and then letting it go. Take some time to spend with yourself, shoring up that wound. There's going to be a wound there. There always is. But spend some time with your feelings. Hello again. Different angle, isn't it? My memory card on the camera just got full. So I'm finishing this on my phone. Now, let's swing this back to meditation. We've talked about some things you can do to deal with stress long term. Now, once you get on top of those things, what was it? The first one? Find the original wound and heal it. So you sit with your pain, you let it come through, you allow it to be. You might need to cry and go through some boxes of tissues. Find out what's underneath if you can't immediately connect it to something in your past. So what's under that fear? And why do I feel that? And why do I feel that? And just come to the root feeling and then allow that to heal through. A lot of people that experience anger and frustration, it's usually fear that's underneath that. That is the primary cause. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned yet, it's a good time to mention. I wish I could cut it in with the other camera, but too bad. And that is, our biggest fear, our biggest stress is going to keep showing up for us. Angry people see idiots in the world that give them cause to be angry. Frightened people see people who might hurt them. Envious people who are always feeling jealous and want what somebody else has got are always going to see things and people with things that are better than them. It's the pattern of how it works. But when you heal that original wound and you heal that original emotion by allowing it to just come up and be expressed, the charge of energy behind that goes away. So you can think about that original occasion and there won't be the energy behind it. You won't feel the pain. It just won't be there. You can look at it and think, okay, so that happened. I promise you this does work. Now, meditation. What I invite you to do is use a part of your meditation time when you're nice and relaxed to see yourself as the person without that pain. So if you're afraid that people are going to hurt you and you're a bit nervous and looking for danger all the time, see yourself as being confident, standing tall and feeling safe in yourself. See yourself being safe. Feel how safe feels. And that will create for you a whole new environment. You'll start to see examples of you being safe. It's about the law of attraction and it works for us. And meditation, when we're in the brainwave state of being in that lovely state of relaxation, that's the time, that's the most powerful time that we can create our future. Because we create our future, we create our life. So we can use that meditation state in the best time that's going to send the signal to your subconscious and out into the universe. I am safe. And do that with whatever it is that you're dealing with, what is behind your stress. And you will find that your life is going to change. It might happen the next day. It might happen a week later. Just trust the process. All the best. Have a great week. I look forward to seeing you. I'll be waiting for you in the next video. Please like and subscribe. Share this with somebody you think who might benefit from it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.